In the quiet moments between our thoughts, in the space between our breaths, there exists a sacred invitation, a gentle beckoning from the divine to draw closer. Yet in our modern world of endless notifications and perpetual noise, this invitation often goes unheard. My beloved friends, our relationship with God is not meant to be a distant formality or a weekly obligation, but rather the very foundation upon which our lives find meaning and purpose. It is the wellspring from which true peace flows, the anchor that holds us steady through life's storms. Today, I wish to share with you 5 practices that have transformed not only my own spiritual journey, but the lives of countless seekers who have implemented them with sincerity and devotion. These are not quick fixes or surface-level techniques. They are pathways to authentic communion with the divine. The practice of sacred silence. In a world that worships productivity and prizes constant communication, silence has become a forgotten sanctuary. Yet it is often in silence that God speaks most clearly to our hearts. Begin by carving out just 15 minutes each day for sacred silence. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Light a candle if it helps you center. Simply sit, breathe, and be present with the divine. This isn't about forcing profound experiences, it's about creating space for God to enter. Many of us approach God with endless words and requests, but forget to listen. In your silence, imagine your soul as an empty vessel being gradually filled with divine light. Don't be discouraged if your mind wanders. Gently bring it back to awareness of God's presence. Brother Lawrence, the 17th century Carmelite monk, practiced what he called the presence of God while washing dishes in the monastery kitchen. He discovered that even the most mundane moments can become sacred when we invite God into them with awareness. With consistent practice, you'll find that this silence begins to follow you throughout your day, creating a continuous conversation with the divine amid life's demands. Scripture as living conversation. Many approach scriptural texts as history books or moral guideposts, and indeed they are these things. But sacred texts are also invitations to divine dialogue. Rather than rushing through passages to complete a reading plan, try this transformative approach. Select a short passage, perhaps just a few verses. Read it slowly 3 times. On the first reading, simply absorb the words. On the second, notice which word or phrase seems to shimmer with meaning for you personally. On the third reading, ask God, "What are you saying to me through these words today in my present circumstances?" Then sit with the passage for several minutes, allowing it to become a bridge between your heart and God's wisdom. This ancient practice, known as Lectio Divina, transforms Scripture from mere information into intimate conversation. The psalmist wrote, "Your word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path." When approached as living dialogue rather than religious obligation, Scripture becomes exactly this: illumination for your journey's next steps. Gratitude as spiritual practice. Gratitude may seem simple, even commonplace in spiritual teachings. Yet when practiced with intention, gratitude becomes a powerful gateway to divine connection. Each evening, take time to write down 3 specific moments from your day when you experienced God's goodness. These need not be dramatic miracles. Perhaps it was the warmth of sunlight on your face, the kindness of a stranger, or the nourishment of a meal. When we cultivate the eyes to see divine fingerprints in our ordinary moments, our entire perspective shifts. The boundary between sacred and secular begins to dissolve. We start to recognize that every breath is a gift, every heartbeat a miracle. The 20th century theologian Brother David Steindl-Rast observed that it is not happiness that makes us grateful, but gratefulness that makes us happy. As gratitude becomes your natural orientation, you'll find yourself in more frequent communion with the giver behind every gift. Service as sacrament. There exists a beautiful paradox in the spiritual journey. We often find God most powerfully when we focus not on finding God, but on serving others. When we extend our hands to those in need, whether through formal volunteer work or simple daily kindnesses, we participate in the very nature of the divine. Jesus himself said, "Whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." Identify one way this week you can serve without recognition or reward. Perhaps visiting an elderly neighbor, preparing a meal for someone going through difficulty, or giving your full presence to someone who needs to be heard. Approach this service not as obligation but as worship, a tangible expression of your love for God. In the faces of those you serve, look for the divine image present in every human being. Mother Teresa often spoke of seeing Jesus in the distressing disguise of the poor. When service becomes sacrament, each act of compassion becomes an encounter with the divine. Finding sacred community, though our relationship with God is deeply personal, it was never meant to be entirely private. We are created for connection, both with the divine and with fellow travelers on the spiritual path. Seek out relationships that nurture your spiritual growth. These may be found within traditional religious communities or in less formal gatherings of seekers. The essential quality is authenticity, spaces where questions are honored, doubts can be expressed, and mutual support abounds. In sacred community, we find mirrors reflecting back aspects of God we might never discover alone. We find companions who can hold space for our struggles and celebrate our breakthroughs. We find accountability that keeps us walking our spiritual path when motivation wanes. The early Christians understood this well. The book of Hebrews encourages, "Let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together, but encouraging one another." Your spiritual community might be large or small, structured or fluid. What matters is that it provides soil in which your relationship with God can deepen its roots and bear fruit. Conclusion, beloved friends, strengthening your relationship with God is not about perfection but presence, not about religious achievement but loving awareness. These practices are not tasks to complete, but invitations to accept. Begin where you are. Start with just one of these pathways if implementing all 5 feels overwhelming. Remember that the divine already longs for deeper connection with you, even more than you long for connection with the divine. In the words of St. Augustine, "You have made us for yourself, O Lord, and our hearts are restless until they rest in you." May your journey toward that sacred rest be blessed with moments of profound connection, surprising joy, and transformative love. As you integrate these practices into your life, you may find that the question shifts from, "How do I reach God?" to the humbling recognition that God has been reaching for you all along.